Welcome to Moon Harbor Heroes. Today's issue is Faces, issue 38, The Snake Fight Defense. The majority of this cover is solid black. Through cutouts the shape of Asimov's mask's eyes, we see a snippet of a hospital ceiling, and Greyhammer's hammer swinging violently towards the reader. We turn the page and our story begins. So our first panel, we see a close-up on Brian's face. There's a very dark background behind him. We can see some vague shapes, but it's all in very dark grays and blacks. And Brian is sweating. And then we pull back and we get a larger panel and we see this what looks like a jury booth full of people. And it's just ridiculously tall. Brian looks very small in front of it. And we hear, and one last part to the Dykstra dissertation defense, the snake fight. And then we see this just giant serpent that looks like the serpents from the zoo, just much larger, rising up behind Brian. Brian, what do you do?
Oh, I should have written a better thesis.
Excellent. And I think we get a panel of the snake biting into Brian, just grabbing him around his whole mid-body. And I have a custom move. Do you want me to read it?
Sure.
Brian, when you weren't the one who was so far away, when you felt the super snake bite into your veins, roll plus freak.
Is that a song?
Yeah, I was way prouder than I should be. On a hit, you can feel that something has changed. There's some kind of strange energy in you. Hold 1. Spin this hold when you would unleash your powers to manifest a new ability and take a +1 to the roll. On a 10+, it's as above, but you take a 10+ on the roll when you spin the hold. On a miss, the energy inside you feels unstable and dangerous. Take a hold as above. When you spin the hold, take a 10+ to the roll, and then take a powerful blow. Spend it soon.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be a miss. That's a 4.
That is a 4. All right, so you have one hold, and when you manifest that ability, it's going to stick around. So whenever you want to use that and pull a new ability from this snake bite, let me know. So we turn the page, and we see another panel of Brian's face. In this, he's laying peacefully in the hospital bed, and his eyes snap open. And Brian, the first thing you see is Greyhammer's hammer swinging down at high speed towards you. What do you do?
I want to lunge at him the same way that Snake lunged at me.
All right, what are you attempting to do with this? You trying to hurt him, or what is your intention? It's figure out what we should roll here.
I think my flight or fight kicked in and has somehow gone to the fight side.
All right. Go ahead and roll to directly engage. And while you're rolling this, I'm going to kind of set the scene as we get the pulled back panel. You lunge towards him as this hammer is swinging down. In the doorway, we can see Lighthammer with his hand outstretched. And we can see just a ton of plants and vines running out of the broken window of your hospital room. That's 14. All right. On a 10+, pick 2.
Right. So I am going to avoid their blows, and I am going to scare the shit out of them.
Excellent. You dive towards him, right as the hammer hits the bed, and then we get the panel of you just colliding with his chest and this wide-eyed surprise. I think you just knock him backwards to the ground. And I think as he hits the ground, we hear him go, "What the hell? I thought you were a weakling." And I think from here, I'm going to cut to Inky on the side of the building. Inky, you were just holding on from these vines, right?
Yes.
What do? You hear this commotion from above. And I think down below you, we see riders zipping in and out of the building, dropping off the last couple of the people as he's clearing them out.
I got you, and I got you, and I got you. Have I missed anybody? Oh, yeah. I got you.
I'm going to try to swing myself, use the vines to swing myself into the room straight at Greyhammer.
Okay, fantastic. Go ahead and give me a directly engage.
That's an 8. Yay.
And on a 7-9, pick 1.
Yeah, let's go for create an opportunity for your allies.
Excellent.
I think I get launched feet first into Greyhammer.
Okay, fantastic. So I think we get the panel of you swinging back and forth, gaining momentum, and then swinging up. And we get a panel in the room. And we see Greyhammer starting to get to his feet as Lighthammer's coming in the door. Brian is standing up in front of him. and then you just go flying into Greyhammer, and I think you both just end up in a tangled mess on the floor. I think he has you kind of pinned down, but is also focusing all of his attention on you while Lighthammer and Brian are standing behind him. Lighthammer, what do you want to do?
All the other remix people have had like the watches, right? We've seen like the watches that tie them to this dimension.
Yes.
I want to walk up behind him and be like, hey, bitch, this is my world. And then just put my hand on that watch and then just send a sonic wave into it to disable it and like shatter it.
Awesome. I think that just happens because of Inky opening up the opportunity and him already being off balance from who he thought was supposed to be a weak, comatose kid tackling the shit out of him. And I think we just get him like sparking off into those like purple pixels and he's just gone.
I offer Enki a hand and I'm like, nice move.
I want to lunge into this space where he was, just like with my mouth open.
Can we get like 4 panels of me just blinking?
Oh, absolutely.
I think Enki looks over at the windowsill where 2 of Gerard's heads are still alive and goes, Gerard, you're alive.
I looked down at my hand, which Enki just ignored, and I'm like, okay.
Oh, I think Gerard holds up a leaf for a high five while Lighthammer's hand is still up. Like, holds it up to Inky for a high five.
I think I jump on top of Brian and go, Brian, meet Gerard. Gerard, Brian.
I look between the 3 of you and I'm like, hey, this is a really cute and precious reunion, but we've got bigger problems. This building is about to come down.
And I think we get like a bit of a slight rumble in the floor at that. And I think I'm going to cut down to Ryder. We get like a panel of Ryder zipping out of the front door of the hospital with the last person. What do you want to do?
I think at this point, now that he sees that everyone's safe, he's going to run back in there and run on his way to Brian's room. And he wants to get a cheap shot in on Remix and Cinema while he's on his way there. And by cheap shot, I'm going to use the super speed to, as I'm running past them, basically toss objects at them as I'm running past them.
Okay, let's start with like you zipping. We get to cut some panels of you zipping through into the like dining area. And when you're back in there, you don't see Remix, you just see Cinema. And she's holding up a Zune and her eyes are doing the projector thing. And we see her just loading the room with explosives. She's from a reality where Zunes did really well.
Oh, shit. Actually, I think at that point, I'm going to go for that clothesline cheap shot and then run through. I'm going to run through her, clotheslining her, and then run to the room to inform them that we need to get out yesterday.
Go ahead and give me a directly engage.
That's not, well, add a +1 to that, so that's 12.
All right. On a 10 plus, pick 2.
I am, I'm going to resist and avoid their blows, and I am going to create an opportunity for my ally. I know that the opportunity will not be here, but it'll be an opportunity to get out of the hospital without the explosive. Fingers crossed that flies.
I think you could use the opportunity to get away from her immediately to get to them.
Okay,
but
that's fine.
She'd still be down here doing her thing. So that good with you?
That worked.
Cool. I think we get the panels of you just super speed. Like she just drops, and I think we get a couple panels of her like very groggily trying to pull herself to her feet, looking around like, what the hell hit me? And I think our next panel is we cut into like Lighthammer saying, what was the last thing you said there, Lighthammer?
We have bigger problems or something like that.
Yeah. And we see you zip in.
We need to go now. Explosives in the cafeteria.
I jump on top of one of Gerard's heads and I yell to Brian, quick, Brian, jump on Gerard. And I'm going to make that a provoke.
I don't know if Brian has any clue what's going on right now.
That's why I'm making it a provoke. If I succeed, then you just do it because I yelled it loud enough. It's a 4. So nothing, just nothing happens, right?
Can I spend my whole to spit poison at Enki?
Oh, God.
Only half kidding.
Okay.
Kidding.
You were actually trying to figure out how the hell that would work.
So I think we get the panels of after Inky with the Brian jump on and just a confused look on Brian's face. Does that work?
I'm still going to ride Gerard out of the building, by the way. That's just gonna happen.
I assumed.
I need to know what that looks like.
Okay, I can describe it. So Gerard is basically like a potted plant with two heads sticking out, two giant carnivorous plant heads sticking out, and then all of the vines, and then all of the vines lift Gerard. The pot is still dangling below Gerard, and I'm sitting on one of the heads, and then it spidery walks out of the window.
Oh, out the window. Okay.
I look over at Ryder and I'm like, get Brian out of here.
I can do that. I think at this point, Ryder is going to look at Brian like, you want to climb on? You want me to grab you?
I'm gonna resist.
How does that work? Would that be a defend?
Can I stun Brian?
What?
Brian said he's going to resist. Can I stun Brian?
This escalated very quickly. Why doesn't someone use their words?
Because Brian's sitting here with snake eyes.
I told him the building is coming down, and then I was like, leave, and no one left, so now I'm going to stun him.
What are you doing to stun him?
I'm putting my hands on his ears and doing the like sonic blast thing, but not like a like debilitating one like I normally do, just enough to stun him for like 3 seconds so Ryder can carry him outside.
And Brian, you're trying to not let this happen, right?
Right.
Then Lighthammer, I think I need you to roll to directly engage. And I think it absolutely will cause a condition if you hit.
Great, that's a 9. And I think if we want to spend team, we have 3.
I'll add a team to the pool. I'll hold him in place to make sure he doesn't get out of the way.
Is higher better or worse?
I'm going to resist or avoid his blows and create an opportunity for Ryder to get him out, since that's a 10.
So, Brian, what does it look like when Lighthammer successfully stuns you? Like, what is Brian's reaction to this as it happens?
I think sort of my eyes just like blink out and I fall forwards.
And Ryder, what are you doing?
Throwing him over my shoulder and leaping out the window.
And Lighthammer?
Is there an intercom in the room?
Like the speaker or?
I mean, either way, I'm probably good enough with sound tech that I can backhack it. So is there some sort of intercom in the room?
I think there'd be a speaker for an intercom system.
Cool. Oh, wait, wouldn't there be a button to call a nurse?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to basically put my hand on the intercom system and try to like overload it with sound to starting with the top floor, try to I'm trying to like essentially sound wave the entire building. So whoever's inside is getting stunned. I'm trying to like overwhelm the speakers, high pitched sound, stun anyone around me.
Go ahead and roll to unleash your powers. Okay, before you do this though, I want to say that if this goes badly, it's going to waste time while you're the only hero left in the building.
Yeah, no,
So
I figured.
It'll be harsh consequences.
Yep, I figured. I'm
Cool.
trying to get them to not blow up the building, and I don't think I can get down there in time to fight them to stop it. So I'm trying to basically like hold them off long enough for Ryder to get back inside and help me.
Okay.
That's an 11.
That's an 11. So tell me what this looks like as we see it like radiating out from like where you are.
I press the button, and I think the first thing that we see a bunch of tiny, tiny sound waves like surge through the button and just see like overwhelm the wires inside. This isn't how sound tech works. This isn't how any tech works, but superhero logic. I'm essentially like short circuiting, so now it connects to all the intercoms in the system. And I'm like, can we get a nurse everywhere? And then I'm going to blast the sound. And it's just this like golden waves washing across every hallway we can see. Montages of like empty rooms getting overwashed by like gold waves large enough to see the Lighthammer theme song written in them. And it's just this like overwhelming amount of force.
Okay, cool. And I think we see that sweeping down the building, and then it cuts to a panel of Cinema like stepping out of a side door of the hospital, and she reaches a finger down to the watch in her wrist to a detonate button. And right before she hits it, she's overtaken by that golden wave, and the watch shatters, and she goes, shit, and like dissolves out of this reality. I'm going to cut. Okay, so what are you doing after that, Lighthammer? Let's stay there for a second.
I don't know if that worked, so I'm going to run down towards where Cinema was setting up bombs.
Okay. So I think we see you turning the corner into the hallway from the room. And we're going to cut to the rest of the group. Where are you all? Like, where did you evacuate to?
I'm going to say the courtyard where I deposited the rest of the people who are probably just as confused as everyone else.
I think at this point there's like general chaos. We've got like emergency vehicles showing up, and we get the three of you there. I think Brian, at this point, you're kind of starting to come to a bit.
Inky, watch over Brian. Brian, I'm sorry. And I think Ryder will at this point turn and run back into the building looking for Lighthammer.
We see a panel of Gerard holding like 7 or 8 patients that Enki grabbed as he was spidering down the building. And Gerard is holding these 7 patients above his head with his vines, and they're like noodling around. And Enki throws a big T-bone steak at Gerard and says, "Now will you let them go?"
Fantastic.
There's an editor's panel that says, "Where did you get a T-bone steak?"
A magician never reveals his secrets.
I see. Feel free to veto that. I just am so
I'm fine with
confused.
No, I think that Inky also has the power of gag appropriate props. A very important power.
It's hammer space. It's all good.
So Brian, you are coming like out of your little daze during this. What are you doing?
Oh, I don't feel so good. Do I see a T-bone steak fly over my head or something?
Sounds about right.
What? I'm gonna look over at the direction it came from.
I think Enki looks over at you and says, "Hey, Brian, you're back. So did you get cool snake powers?"
Snake powers? What?
I think...
Oh, do we? Where's Gun Wizard? Do we get Gun Wizard?
I have no idea who any of these people are, but I'm glad you're back. I'm sorry that I didn't save you from the snakes last time.
Snakes. What are all the other people here doing?
There's a large amount of people, both like people who work in the hospital, people in like street clothes, and patients. And there's kind of like general chaos as a lot of emergency vehicles are arriving. I think police are setting up like barricades around the hospital. And I think Ryder was running back in, right?
Yep.
Through the front door?
Yep.
Yeah, that is what's going on, Brian.
This is this a hospital?
Yeah, it was a hospital. I'm not really sure what it's now.
I see. Wait, so Ryder's going inside?
Yes.
I'm gonna start to get up and follow him.
I think we get the panels of you starting to take steps towards it, and then a shadow falls over you, and you turn and you see Remix, and he like cracks his knuckles and goes, "Okay, now that you're all separated," and his keyboards pop out.
I'm still close though, right?
Yes.
Yes, separated. Absolutely. I'm making some kind of gesture that I'm hoping Enki's picking up.
I look over at Brian and I cock an eyebrow and I go, "Bad guy?"
I just mouse like a
Enki just looks over at Gerard and says, "Gerard, eat him!" And I think Gerard tries to swallow Remix.
Okay, go ahead and give me a directly engage.
Yay, a 9.
On a 7-9, pick one.
I'm going to surprise the opposition.
Yeah, unless Brian wants to spin team. I think you all have 2 left.
if we keep completely annihilating every single threat, I'm never gonna. Yeah, I mean, I guess.
It's up to you. You don't have to.
Yes. Brian wouldn't just stand there.
Okay, what do you do to help?
I'm gonna send up Isaac.
Did the team bring your stuff to the hospital?
I would imagine we did, yeah.
Oh shit, I'm gonna try to send up Isaac.
Yes, we did. We did bring Brian's stuff, but it's all probably in his room still.
So I don't think you have Isaac with you at the moment. Because I think you're basically just in like a hospital gown. Because Lighthammer knocked you out and Ryder grabbed you.
And his mask. Remember, we said that the hospital doesn't unmask people.
Right, that's true. You are still in your mask.
Yeah, Isaac's not in my mask. I think that's gonna really surprise me when I realize I don't have my stuff.
Oh, so we get like the panel of you like stepping forward to help and kind of like patting down like, wait, what? So maybe you don't spin team here then?
Yeah.
Okay. So which one did you want to pick, Inky?
Well, obviously, I'm going to massively surprise Remix, who doesn't expect that a carnivorous plant suddenly chomps on him.
I think I know how he's gonna be surprised by this. I think we get Gerard like bounding forward and lunging with both heads. And I think one bites him on the shoulder and the other he finishes typing and pushes a portal open right as the head is about to hit him, and Gerard goes through the portal and opens up behind you and bites you, Inky. I'm gonna have you roll to take a powerful blow in just a moment. He like struggles backward, like pulls away from Gerard. We can see some blood on his shoulder, and we see him furiously typing. He's like, "Who the hell are you? You don't exist anywhere." Looking at Inky. So Inky, go ahead and roll to take a powerful blow as you're stabbed or bit in the back by your plant buddy.
That's an 8. Great.
So on a 7 and 9, choose one.
Well, I can't take 2 more conditions because then I pass out. I'm going to. How does provoke a teammate to foolhardy action work?
You have to basically yell at Brian to do something that's pretty foolish, and then roll to provoke.
Okay, so I think Gerard comes out of a portal behind me and grabs me, and I panic and I yell at Brian, "Quick, bite him! You might have snake powers." Sorry for the giggling.
Would Inky know that Brian has snake powers?
I don't even know that. I'm just yelling, "Quick, bite him! You might have snake powers."
We did see Brian lunge at Greyhammer and also hiss and also have snake eyes earlier.
Okay, so it's reasonable that would be known, or at least an idea of that.
Also, it's totally within reason that Enki thinks that if monsters bite you, that you gain powers.
Yeah, no, that logic tracks as Inky logic to me.
But Brian, not remembering any of that stuff that happened, is going to look very confused and kind of hopeless at that suggestion.
Inky, go ahead and roll to provoke. Yep. I love this, the Brian looking utterly befuddled.
That's a 6.
And I think we get this panel of Brian looking just, unless you want to spend team selfishly.
Well, here's what I'm wondering. I was taking a powerful blow, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I rolled an 8, and then this is what I did with it. So if my provoke fails, what happens?
I'm going to make a move.
Okay.
You do get potential on that, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have influence over Brian? And did you factor it in already?
I do have influence over Brian. Is that a plus?
That gives you a +1 to any roll against him, so that becomes a 7.
That's a 7. Cool. So I did a provoke against Brian and hit
So
a
on
7. So I have to choose one.
Yep. The carrot or the stick.
If he doesn't do it, he has to mark a condition.
So I think we get the panel of Brian just staring confused at Inky as Gerard is just chomping on his whole back. And he is telling you to bite this thing, and you see pure desperation in his eyes. Wait, bite Gerard or bite Remix?
Bite Remix.
To be fair, you said him, so it could be either one.
Just want to check. So,
Bite
Brian.
somebody! Bite somebody!
There's a doctor near you. Bite him.
I'm totally fine with Brian completely misunderstanding the message and biting Gerard instead. That's up to him.
So, Brian, what do you do?
Well, let's see. I guess technically, okay, well, I'm going to take guilty, but only because I don't think I can do anything. And I think that after I cower a bit more, something will suddenly awaken in me. And I'm going to... Wait, let me think. Okay, where is Enki right now? Like, are you currently being devoured by Gerard? Or is that what it looks like?
Yeah.
Sorry, I think Gerard's latched onto Inky's back, but if you're hesitating, Gerard's kind of like letting go as he realizes who he bit. But we do see Remix like stepping forward and starting to type furiously.
Well, I see that this thing has attacked my friend, and since I have nothing to use against it, I'm going to dash forward at it and bite it with poisonous fangs.
Are you spending that hold?
Yes.
So what happens when you bite it with poisonous fangs and take a 10 plus?
Well, my mouth goes really big, and you see some really long fangs. And I don't know what this thing really, I can't really quite picture what this thing looks like. But if it has a nice big stalk somewhere,
Like a very neckish stalk?
yeah. And if not, I'll just bite it in the jaw-looking part or whatever.
Excellent. And what does that do to it? You can do whatever you want here.
Mm.
You want to knock it out, like it to wither and die?
I want to make it have to defend its thesis. Okay, I want to make that part of it start disappearing.
Oh, fantastic. And I think like while we see this happening, like I'm going to take over a little bit of control here. I think when you realize what you've done, you see this thing just fully disappear. You kind of step back. There's probably a good bit of surprise here. And we see Remix like step forward and go, "Oh, that's new." And Brian, I'd like you to go ahead and take that powerful blow.
10, baby! Oh yeah!
That's
Oh yeah, that's bad! Woohoo!
Okay. Do you know what you want to pick now, or do you want me to jump over to
I want to
Lighthammer?
lose control of my powers in a terrible way.
Excellent. I am going to cut over to Ryder and Lighthammer first, and then we'll cut back into you losing your powers. So
losing control of his
or
power.
losing control of your powers. Yeah, that's the words. So we're going to cut over to Ryder. Where are you going first when you're running into the building? I'm just trying to get.
Could I? Okay, so question: as I deposited the group outside, or Brian outside, would I have heard the announcement from a distance that Lighthammer did? I would imagine I would, but just want to clarify to make sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So I'm going to run to where I believe Lighthammer would have went, which is the mess hall / cafeteria.
We're gonna have you both arrive at the same time. Like, I think we get you both going in like opposite doors to that area. And looking around, there's still a large amount of explosives, and we see a lot of blinking lights throughout. Other than that, the room is very empty. There are some cracks in the floor still, but yeah.
Where'd she go?
I don't know. Maybe you should go off on your own and find her.
Not right now. We have a room full of explosives and a missing villain. 2 missing villains at that, actually. Oh no. Remix wasn't in here when I ran through here last time.
Go save Brian. I'll take care of these. It's fine.
You sure? I mean, he kind of gestures to the room.
Just go, please. I don't want to see you right now.
Understood. And at that, Ryder will run back out of the hospital towards whatever the hell's happening out there, outside.
Cool. Lighthammer, do you want me to follow Ryder, or did you need anything there?
I think I'm just gonna like carefully go from bomb to bomb and like again with that like sonic energy thing, like disable them. But it's like the very specific like pinpricky sonic thing. So it's probably gonna be a pretty slow process. I think it is like very methodical, very like slow, very careful, just taking these down one at a time.
Okay.
So I'll probably be out for a bit. And I think like we also see like at least 1 or 2 panels from my vision's point of view. And we see like a lot of comments being like, why aren't you fighting? Like, go do something. Like, your team needs you. And I'm just like sitting there being like, and diffuse this bomb, take this bomb down. Like, very not paying attention to the people flooding my feed.
Oof. Okay. And then we turn the page and we see Ryder like skidding to a stop in front of a scene here. Brian's eyes are like flashing green. He has fangs. And he seems about ready to pounce with just full-on bloodlust in his eyes on Inky. Remix has actually taken a couple steps back and looks just amused watching this. Brian, go ahead and roll to directly engage.
Not Enki. Not an Enki. No. It's a 9.
That's a 9. Would anyone like to spin team? Okay. Does anyone want to do anything while Brian is lunging towards Inky here?
I want to defend.
What do you do?
I want to remove Inky from that spot. Apparently, I'm relying on super speed a lot this issue.
Yeah, it works.
And I want to remove Inky from that position so that whenever Brian, Snake Man, does whatever he's doing towards Inky. He misses.
To make this work, I think someone is going to have to defend. I think you're going to have to defend, and we'll also have to find a way to bring it down another 1. Because on a PC threat, it'll just give him a -2 to the roll. So to get it to a 6, I think someone would have to like spend influence to give a -1 as well. Just want to let you know before you roll the defend.
Okay. Actually, I'm going to burn my defense. I'm going to burn my influence on him.
All right.
Let me roll this first.
Yeah.
See if it works. That's a 10.
That's a 10.
That's 10. So I'm also going to burn my influence on Asimov.
Okay, so that pushes Asimov down to I can do math, 5. So I think we get like Brian lunging forward and just snapping in air where Inky just was. And we see like Ryder holding Inky just off to the side.
The hell, Asimov? What are you doing?
And Brian, I think you're back under control. Like you just had that intense rage there and you are back in your senses.
I think Enki stares at Brian and goes, "Wait, you actually have snake powers?"
The only thing on my mind right now is Remix.
I think as you spin to him, he rips open a portal behind him and is starting to step backwards through it. Brian, what do you do?
Bite the portal.
I would like you to roll to unleash your powers to bite the portal.
Okay, that is a 3.
Potential.
Guess you can't bite portals.
So we see you latch down onto the portal, and I'm going to offer you a choice. Either Remix can get away, or you can close this portal, but it will go terribly wrong. But Remix will not get away right now.
I'm going to close the portal.
We see Brian latch down on this portal, and Remix like skids to a stop as it starts dissolving. And we see like this panel of just a close-up of Remix's face as his eyes get wide, and we see these like bright purple and green light effects. And then when we cut back out, we see the portal and Brian turn into this like digital snow and just fade out.
See you later, guy.
Remix spins to stare at Ryder and Inky, and then just turns and starts to run. What do y'all do?
I want a clothesline Remix.
Go ahead and roll to directly engage.
That's a 9. I'm going to resist or avoid their blows. And as I hit them, I'm going to be like, what happened to Asimov? What did you do to him?
We see him hit the ground, and we see one of his few physical keyboards, like non-hard light keyboards, the attachment arm break and it goes skittering. And he turns wide-eyed looking up at you and goes, I don't know. I've met a lot of Brians, but none that could do that.
I want to lift him up by his shirt and hold him in the air and be like, bring him back now.
We see his like surprise start to fade, and like he starts to grin and goes, I don't even know where he is.
Ryder then would throw him to the ground, walk over to his keyboard that broke off, smash it, and then look at him and say, I will do that to every piece of you until you bring him back.
He stands up and looks at you with just the smuggest smile. If you break my tech, I can't bring him back. You need me.
That's not...
I think at this point you see like a small boy whose clothes are now nothing more than rags basically at this point, and he seems more animal than person, and he launches himself at Remix and just start punching and starts yelling, give me back my friend, give me back my friend.
Are you trying to seriously hurt him, or is this just like, I'm trying to decide how he needs to react to it.
I mean, I'm super strong and I'm super angry, so I guess my punches do land, yeah.
Okay, I think, yeah, we see him like cowering back, and we see, I think Ryder specifically sees Inky shatter another one of the keyboards.
Inky, stop. He's right. What do we need to do? I think I would be piercing the mask at this point.
I just keep punching. Somebody's gonna have to pull me off.
Okay, then let me revise that and be like, I would grab Inky up by the nape of his neck, pull him to the side, and be like, no, this isn't gonna help. Is he stuck here now since the portal got broken / eaten?
So you're not certain, but you've never seen Remix like not just jump out through a portal when they've had the opportunity, and they definitely have had the opportunity.
Okay, so
Okay, why don't you go ahead and pierce the mask?
all right. Oh boy, got to 5.
Awesome. Go ahead and ask me a question off the list.
I was going to ask, how could I get your character to help us bring Brian?
Okay. What do you say in character?
We obviously need you to bring Brian back. What do we need to do to make that happen?
He looks around. He goes, well, you've smashed my tech. I need to fix it. And we should probably get out of here. And he like nods over towards the police. Take me somewhere where I can fix this.
I think I step out from the building. I don't think I interact yet, but I step out and I'm watching from a safe distance.
Okay. He goes, I fix this. I'll bring him back. I'll leave. I'll try to kill him again later. That's the deal. And he holds his hand out to shake.
I want to walk over now and like look at Felix and be like, what's going on?
Brian went through a portal. His portal. We need him to get Brian back.
I turn and I look at him and I'm like, why should we trust him? I'm staring at him, but I'm asking Ryder.
We shouldn't.
And this whole time, Remix just has this smug grin. I think he's got some blood running down his face, like a black eye from Inky, but just the smuggest look.
I get really close to him and I say, here's the deal. This is our world. You've interacted with enough people from my legacy to know just how dark we can get. You've met Greyhammer in a bunch of different timelines, I assume. I think it's probably in your best interest to do what we want and bring Brian back. Because you won't like me when I'm the Dark Lighthammer. And I think I'm using Persuade with best interest. His best interest is that I won't beat the shit out of him if he helps us.
I don't think he's susceptible to these words at all. Because I actually don't think it is at all in his best interest to bring Brian back right now. Because Brian not being here is his only leverage. I think in response to this, he looks at Felix, just very much ignoring Lighthammer, and goes, will you explain to your friend here my tech is broken? I need a place to fix it. Do we have a deal? And he keeps his hand held out to Felix.
He would ask again. So, Light, how hard do you think it'd be to replicate this tech?
For us, pretty difficult, but I think I might know someone who can help.
I think we both do. And we've got the resources to make it happen. You've seen the other riders. We don't need your body. And he would say that directly to Remix.
I want to look at him and I'm like, besides, it's not like you can leave anyway, right? Your tech is broken. So, and I want to wave the police over.
He looks at Lighthammer, goes, have fun finding him. The multiverse is huge.
And I've got someone who I think can probably find him. And I'm going to pull out my phone and tweet at the AV Club. Need your help. Meet me at my place.
I think in the background you see Enki yelling at Gerard. What do you mean you can't make a portal? We have to save Brian.
Gerard's single remaining head. Poor guy.
Yep.
I think the last panel we get there is that tweet and then liked from the AV Club. And we turn the page and we see like a alleyway and then a portal rips open and Brian falls through into a dumpster. When you pull yourself up out of the dumpster, you look around and it looks like you're in downtown Moon Harbor, except everything is very futuristic. There's a lot of like neon lights, lots of like metal and smooth angles. And then you glance up into the sky and you see hundreds of bots that look like Isaac zipping around the city. They'll like zip down close to civilians walking and scan them. And you see people just like cowering a bit when they do. One person gets scanned and the Isaac just starts flashing red and then says, by the order of Remix, you are being detained, and then tases the person. And we see like a swarm of Isaacs fly down and pick up the person and fly off with them. Let's just get a reaction panel and then end there.
He can program anti-robotics? That's not fair.
Moon Harbor Heroes is produced by Anthony Sheets, TB Huth, and Elliot Peterson, and edited by Anthony Sheets and Sean Geddes. Anthony can be found on Twitter at IcyNewYear or at icynewyear.com. T is a theater artist and educator in the DC area. She can be found at thuthplaywright on Twitter or tphuth94 on Instagram. Elliot can be found at Elliot Yellen on Twitter. That's ELLIOTYLEN. Sean can be found at The Crumpit, THECRUMPIT on Twitter. Moon Harbor Heroes is played using Masks: A New Generation, written by Brendan Conway and produced by Magpie Games. Our logo was designed by Beautiful Beasties. She can be found on Instagram at beastly.doodles or on Patreon at patreon.com/beautifulbeasties. The music in this issue is Black Vortex by Kevin MacLeod. This issue is GM'd by Anthony Sheets. Writer Typhon is played by Kaido Kane. Kaido is a Twitch personality and loves their 3 mischievous cats. You can find them at The Versian on Twitter or as Kaido Kane on twitch.tv. Asimov is played by EXPHP. You probably won't find him at It's EXPHP on Twitter, but it's worth a try. Enki is played by Simon Meskins. You can find him as at Gilbereka, GILBERREKE on Twitter. Lighthammer is played by T. Huth. If you want to get a hold of us, email us at moonharborheroes@gmail.com or find us on Twitter at moonharborcast. If you enjoyed this issue, please leave us a review on your podcatcher of choice or tell a friend. 5-star reviews and word of mouth are really the best way for us to keep bringing these stories to more people. If you'd like to support us financially, check us out at patreon.com/moonharborheroes. Supporting us there will give you access to bonus issues each month. And thank you for helping us save the world. We'll see you next issue.